What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the young phenom, Luka Doncic. Now, it shouldn't be a secret anymore just how good Luka is, and the step he took from year 1 to year 2, it's virtually unseen in NBA history. And with this great year, he was lucky enough to finish 4th in MVP voting. Now, with this great 2020 campaign, based on what I saw, I think Luka Doncic, he's going to be the best player of the 2020s decade. And this video, it is not meant to downplay or discredit other players. It's only to show you guys why I think Luka, he's going to be the best of the 2020s. So the first thing that really impressed me with Luka this year is how dominant he was versus the Clippers, as he averaged 31 points per game, 9.8 boards, 8.7 assists on 50, 36, and 65 splits. And for a player that's only 21 years old to average that in their first ever playoff series versus a top 5 defense, that is absolutely mind-blowing. And if you take a deeper, in-depth look and look at Luka versus some of the Clippers' best defenders, here's how he performed. Versus Kawhi Leonard, one of the best defensive players in the NBA, Luka scored 22 points on 8 for 16 shooting. Versus Paul George, another player who has made multiple all-defensive teams, Luka had 25 points on 9 for 17 shooting. Versus Marcus Morris, a very scrappy defender, Luka had 34 points on 10 for 21 shooting. And versus Patrick Beverley, Luka had 10 points on a perfect 4 for 4 shooting. And in total versus all those players, Luka had 91 points on 53.8% shooting. So I think those matchup stats are very important, as that shows that Luka, he is not fazed or bothered by the elite defenses in the NBA. And if you watch the series versus the Clippers, he was blowing by Paul George as well as Kawhi Leonard. And when Luka has a step on the defender and gets his shoulder past him, it's virtually over, as he can finish at the rim, hit a turnaround jump shot, or dish it off to Porzingis. And one of the underrated parts of Luka's game is actually how strong he is and how well he uses his body. And I think one player who plays very similar to Luka is none other than James Harden. And as you guys know, James Harden, he is one of the pioneers of the step-back jumper. And Luka has admittedly watched a ton of James Harden take. And the one big thing Luka has taken away is that step-back jumper. And in Luka's first 2 years in the league, including the playoffs, he is shooting 35.8% on step-back jumpers, 44.1% on twos, and 35.2% on threes. Now, when comparing to James Harden, keep in mind that Harden is the best step-back jump shooter the NBA has ever seen. And in the last 2 seasons, the playoffs included, Harden is shooting 38.3% on step-back jumpers, 44% from 2, and 38.1% from 3. And yes, Harden does have better percentages, but keep in mind, Luka, he's only 21 years old, and he is going to continuously improve his step-back jumper. And a lot of NBA legends who are great players, they all had one signature go-to move. Jordan and Kobe had the fadeaway, Dirk had the one-legged fadeaway, Kareem had the hook shot, Tim Duncan had the bank shot, and Hakeem had the dream shake. And I think in a couple of years, Luka's step-back jumper is going to be one of the most lethal signature moves the NBA has ever seen. And in today's NBA, I think it is very important for a player to have a signature move, and I think the ability to create your own shot and create your own offense, that is almost demanded for every superstar in the league. And looking at some of the best young players in the league, like Giannis and Zion, specifically Giannis, we've seen him struggle when it comes to the playoffs, trying to create his own shot and create his own offense. And for Luka, that is not going to be a problem going forward, and the advanced stats, they already back this up, as when you look at the leaders in field goals made for shots with 7+ dribbles, Luka, he is 3rd in the NBA with 4.3 field goals made, only behind James Harden and Damian Lillard. And if you look at both Harden and Luka, they're shooting virtually the same percentage from the floor. And keep in mind, James Harden, he's in his prime, and Luka is only 21 years old. And if you look at three-pointers made with 7+ dribbles, Luka, he is 4th in the NBA at 1.3 makes. And James Harden, he is 1st at 2.2. So that right there shows that Luka, he's already one of the best isolation players in the NBA. And I think the blueprint that Harden has laid, Luka, he's going to take that to another level and really dominate the 2020s with the James Harden blueprint. And one thing that is even more important besides creating your own shot is being able to thrive in the clutch time situations. And in the 2020 playoffs, we saw Luka absolutely dominate in the clutch, and the biggest moment he had was scoring 43 points, having 17 boards, 13 assists, and hitting the game-winning step-back three-pointer versus the LA Clippers. And if you look at Luka's clutch stats in the 2020 playoffs, he averaged 6.5 points per game, which is second in the NBA. He shot 55.6% from the field and 60% from three. And here's a quick audio clip from Goran Dragic talking about Luka and how good he was in the clutch when he was only 17 years old.
You know, with Luka, even when we play Euro basketball, he was always having fun. That's one thing that, you know, even in the clutch moments, he was always smiling. He never feels the pressure. Never. It's something that amazed me. You know, he never feels the pressure. He always comes there and like he's outside with his friends playing pickup game. And that's how he's playing. And that's why I think so he's successful, because, you know, he got that confidence that he can do whatever he thinks.
And if you're a Mavs fan, you absolutely love to hear that. And once again, I think the numbers, they back up what Goran Dragic is saying. And if you look at some of the best players in recent history who were 19 and 20 years old and how they performed in the clutch, here's how Luka stacks up. In the last 2 minutes of a game, with game-time go-ahead shots, Luka is shooting 43.2%. LeBron James at that age was shooting 25.6%. Kobe at that age was shooting 30.7%. KD was shooting 47%. And Kyrie was shooting 35.3%. And Luka has the most made field goals out of everyone in this list and the second highest percentage, only behind Kevin Durant. And the definition of clutch and what constitutes being clutch, it is fairly complicated. So let's expand the scope and look at game time or go-ahead shots in the last 5 minutes of a game. And once again, this is looking at the same players at ages 19 as well as 20. And Luka, in those situations, he was shooting 42.6%. LeBron shot 28.4%. Kobe shot 29.2%. KD shot 38.7%. And Kyrie shot 45.5%. And once again, Luka leads this list in field goals made and is second in field goal percentage, only behind Kyrie Irving. And the last clutch stat we're going to look at is how these players performed at age 19 and 20 in the last 5 minutes of a game with a score within 5 points. And in those situations, Luka is averaging 3.1 points per game on 41.3% shooting. LeBron in those situations averaged 2.4 points per game on 37.6% shooting. Kobe averaged 2.5 points per game on 38.3% shooting. KD averaged 2.7 points per game on 35.4% shooting. And Kyrie averaged 3.9 points per game on 49.3% shooting. And Luka, he is second in both points per game as well as field goal percentage, only behind Kyrie Irving. And I think those four players, LeBron, Kobe, KD, and Kyrie, you could argue those are the four most clutch players of the past 10 to 15 years. And comparing those four players to Luka and their clutch time stats, I think it's very comparable, and I think Luka, he definitely holds his own. And if you don't like stats and you just like going off the eye test, I think the eye test shows you guys that Luka, at the worst, he's going to be a top 3 player of the 2020s decade. And in my opinion, based off the film, I think he's going to be the best player of the 2020s. As he can already create his own shot, he's a great ISO player. He's already shown he has the ability to be clutch. He has a high basketball IQ. The elite defenses, they don't seem to bother him. And there is no drop-off from his production in the regular season compared to the playoffs. And we already saw in this Clippers series, he makes all of his teammates better. You had guys like Tim Hardaway, Trey Burke, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Luka, he made all those guys better. That's mainly because the Clippers defense, they were so keyed in on stopping Luka. And being a great passer as well as a great scorer, that gave the Clippers defense a lot of problems, especially when his teammates were hitting the outside jump shots. And after the playoffs, I saw a lot of people saying that Luka, he plays like a 10-year veteran. And I think some of that experience and poise, it can be attributed to how he played overseas. As this guy, he was the youngest EuroLeague MVP, as well as the youngest Champions Finals MVP. And Luka, being 18 years old and playing against fully grown men, that no doubt prepared him for the physicality as well as the speed you'll see in the NBA. And over the next decade, LeBron James, he will eventually retire, and the title as the best player in the NBA, that will be up for grabs. And I think guys like Luka, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Zion, maybe even Trae Young, Devin Booker, all those guys are going to be competing for that title. And in my opinion, Luka, he's going to come out on top and be the best player of the 2020s decade. So that is really all I have to say in this video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you didn't think Luka was going to be the best player of the 2020s, I hope I changed your mind or opened your eyes to the possibility that he will be. And in this video, I'm not saying Luka is going to win every MVP or be the best player every year. I'm saying overall, when the 2020s decade is over, I think we're going to be looking back and saying that Luka, he was the standout player and the best player of this decade. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.